Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. and the ticket is yours. Yours.
Got lots of love. 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 Got lots of love.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off, it's Raven. No one to necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through! It's just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes the Nanoblade, immediately goes back like fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3, so back and forth.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It is week 3 here in the CGL, or no, week 4. It's week 4 now. Yeah, it's Tuesday, week 4. We got an interesting matchup here between 1-2 teams here in our EU PC Open tier between Big Man Ting and Seoul Team Phoenix. Spectrion, you ready to get this one rolling?
Absolutely. I mean, time flies when you're having fun, Flesh. That's how we've made it all the way to week 4. Got the mid-season tournament coming up pretty soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But on to the matter at hand. As you mentioned, a 1-2 matchup between Big Man Ting and Seoul Team Phoenix to see exactly who is going to be coming out of this, back to parity, and who is going to be dropping down to that unfortunate 1-3 position in the leaderboards. Now, as far as we know, I think they're both,
pretty mathematically eliminated.
Yeah, they're both about mathematically eliminated. Won't really have a great chance of making it towards the actual mid-season tournament. But still a lot of reason to play for. Of course, every match you play is going to count towards the overall playoffs, so you'd love to get some good seeding into that. So match still matters, but, it's more the kind of top 4 teams we're looking at for the future of CGL, at least the next week or so going forward. Of course, we have seen Seoul Team Phoenix before. Big Man Ting, I believe it's going to be the first time of theirs on broadcast, unless I'm much mistaken. So we're going to be learning a little bit about exactly how they want to approach the game.
Yeah, I mean, should it be a great one here? Even without the implications, these teams are pretty, evenly matched. Both, like we said, sitting at 1 and 2. Looking for a great match, but I'm also looking for an NA match, and we've got one of those tonight as well. We've got Space Train Express versus Emerald Eagles. And fun fact about Emerald Eagles that I'm definitely going to bring up again tonight, they are a club team for my university, the University of North Texas. So that's a little fun fact about them. But for now, we got Big Man Ting versus Seoul Team Phoenix. Our first map in this series, I believe, going to be Antarctic Peninsula, followed up by Paraiso for map number 2, Throne of Anubis for map 3, and our tiebreaker maps will be Esperanza and Route 66 if necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I'm instantly going to look towards Throne of Anubis as a map that might be a little bit interesting here. It's still new, people are still figuring things out. Gotta say though, Antarctic Peninsula is also going to be very, very curious. I would argue definitely the most brawly of the control points, and so teams who don't have some decent practice on Peninsula specifically can often struggle there if they don't have much ability on these ram grind compositions. I don't know exactly what Big Man Ting are going to roll out on, but judging by some of the players on their roster, I figure they'll have comps like that though on lock.
Yeah, it's going to be hard if they're not, because that Ram comp is really, really strong paired up with the Juno and the Brig. Now, I mean, it's really interesting, frankly, to see how the evolution of Juno has progressed, right? Started off with that ICBM Diva composition, and now she's just kind of the slotted in support wherever you want to go. She can take you. And for Antarctic Peninsula, it's one of those maps where you are going to be running that Ramatra Rush just because it's the best version of Rush right now. You can do whatever you want, I suppose, but, mathematically, we see it a lot. Ramatra is the best pick here, but now we have our lineups, and first up is going to be Big Man Ting here. We've got Sonder and Boosh on the DPS. Gek, or is that... How do you pronounce that word?
With Alba and Antimoides on the backline. I gotta say, on paper, Sonder's definitely the player who sticks out to me most, and not just because I've attended a couple lands with the guy. Of course, the only Arlandish player in the world, realistically, as well as one of the higher ranked Bastion players, definitely his strongest hero. So he'll be able to compete on the other hit scans. The rest of the players as well, more than capable of punching a little bit above their weight class. So I'm going to put a special emphasis on Gehek and Antimoides to do exactly that. Their opponents should be Seoul Team Phoenix. We can take a gander at that roster here. But remember, we've had them before on Saturday Night Overwatch. They did struggle a little bit, if memory serves, with D-Tank, Squares, Katina Kart, Khan, and Frog going to be taking to the big screen.
Yeah, and I mean, if what they're showing us right now with this, preferred lineup is true, I mean, it's not a bad one. Katina gonna probably need to go over to the Ramatra for this first map if they want to, not have a repeat of the last time they were on stream. But like we were talking about, these teams, in theory, on paper, fairly evenly matched, sitting at 1-2 here through the first 3 weeks. I really, really think that this could be a banger without implications. Nobody, like, these teams realize we're done. We can't make the midseason tournament. All we can do is set ourselves up for success later on in the season. And right now, I'm doing the math. It's, both sides are equal to me.
Yeah, about that. So we're going to have to wait and see exactly how it plays off once we actually get into the lobby. As mentioned, Antarctic Peninsula are going to be coming up first. So the kind of heroes we're going to be looking for there are going to be the ones with a little bit more HP, that survivability. I would very much not expect to see anything really pokey. Obviously with this Ramatra comp we've been seeing so much of, it kind of plays almost as a Brawl poke hybrid, but all that kind of poke side of things we're not really going to see. Definitely going to be getting some of those Nemesis form punches in pretty quickly on every single one of these sub-maps, especially sub-level, which just is so linear. It's really quite hard to take any of the angles you'd want on any different style of composition. Looks like we are having some lobby issues right now, so there might be a bit of a shot to the leg of Soul Team Phoenix, who I believe might have to play with a substitute.
Yeah, D-Tank is usually their starting tank, but because I guess not even their starting tank. I'm not really sure what the story is here, but I guess their starting tank that they were gonna play has not shown up yet. So Katina, the backup tank, will be taking over that role, or rather, is it the DPS? I'm not really sure. D-Tank, I think, would have been the main starting tank here, going over to the DPS now for Soul Team Phoenix. So hopefully, for their sake, they can still manage to make this interesting and potentially, win the series. But that will be a hit to the mental, because this isn't really the lineup that you wanted to come out with. D-Tank over to the DPS after playing so much tank, it's in the name. It's gonna be rough, but I really think that they are. This is the team that they brought. Katina Kart was ready for this, I'd assume, because was in the lobby. Hopefully, they can still make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are definitely a lot of teams who have decent protocols and ideas set up when they don't have certain availabilities, substitutes, role rejigs, whatever, and can compete with it. We got to hope that Soul Team Phoenix are going to be one of those teams, because unfortunately there are definitely some teams who also won't have that, and we'd really rather not have done all this setup for a game that ends up being a quick 3-0. We are going in a second. That's enough waffle from us. Big Man Ting versus Soul Team Phoenix. Going to be starting on Antarctic Peninsula in just 1 second. The first point going to be sub-level. Again, one of the most brawly points on Control. See exactly how these two teams want to get in on it.
Yep, it's going to be an interesting one. You got to keep an eye on this tank for Soul Team Phoenix as we come out. We know that they let's see, what do they usually play? Katina Kart likes to play Wrecking Ball and Winston. We know that already, but not exactly the best map to rock out on those characters. So we will see. It's going to be the Orisa in from Soul Team Phoenix. Not a horrible shout. And heck, on the other side, hovering the Mauga. Spec, what are you thinking about these, lineups that we're seeing right now?
Orisa has obviously been buffed in recent times. The spear change not mattering as much as kind of the overall landscape shifting, so she's pretty strong right now. The range on your fusion driver, as long as the spear, helps you compete pretty effectively on some of these longer sightlines without needing the angles that maybe a Sig would. The Ram, though, is very, very standard. The Ashe, again, pretty standard. Sightlines a smidge longer, so D-Tank will struggle until we really get into the thick of it.
All right, here we go. Sub-level 4 map number 1. Antarctic Peninsula. Katina already having to back down so quickly, taking a lot of damage. Spear outed just eviscerates Boosh. And now shoving this Brig into the locker. Anthropoidus not in the best position. And with Sonder having gone down, it will be Salty Phoenix that comes out swinging quickly.
Yeah, I mean, great spear there from Katina Kart. It was already an advantage fight for Big Man Ting there. Great dynamite from Sonder. Plenty of space taken. But instead, just absolutely ruining their day. There are some trades back and forth. Squares and D-Tank posting frags. But it should be nothing in the end. Big Man Ting forced to reset here. And instantly then swapping over to the Orisa. They want to be able to match the range of Salty Phoenix. The spear, I gotta say, disrupting that Nemesis form block is a really hard piece of matchup for the Ramattra. The ability to mitigate damage is not the same. So that's why we see that swap coming through. Oh my lord.
God, knife from across the map. Boosh goes yard to take out Frog, and now Gahek just walking it down with that Fortify Ice Block in this time. For Boosh, not gonna fall for the same thing twice as Big Man Ting take over.
Crazy right click onto squares, and there's nothing really you can do about that. All you can do is think about the next fight, and you know, to your credit, Salty and Phoenix do have a small amount of ult advantage. If they go early, then there shouldn't be too much that Big Man Ting could do about it. You know, go for an early stick to force out resources, then just pop your Terra Surge and Deadeye together. Squares looking for that stick.
Just a little bit short on that Pulse Bomb. Terra Surge, Deadeye out. Deadeye canceled. This Terra Surge is going to find not much into that ice block of Boosh. Now the Orbital Ray is in, but Boosh has removed Squares all while getting harassed by Katina Kart. Now, opposite Orbital Ray, both rallies had been used, but Khan falls here, and Big Man Ting with the later ultimate is going to get the job done here.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happens. Doesn't help that most of the early ults that Salty and Phoenix try and get value, kind of don't. Obviously, the Squares miss sucks. And then having your Deadeye cancelled by a spear as well, not really what you want. And then when all is said and done, it's just support what's coming out there. A little bit later from Big Man Ting that find all the value in the world. They got Blizzard and Bob now online. Salty Phoenix, this next fight was going to be borderline impossible for them. Unless we see a Squares one clip, D-Tank double dink.
Alright, now rotating around through the far side up by the bounce pad. It looks like D-Tank wants to take the bounce pad. No, not gonna quite commit to that, as Sonder is the first one to find a pick here. Great shots into Khan as Katina Kart is alone. There's nobody to help this Orisa on the point. It looks like the rest of the team did take the bounce pad.
Yeah, it's still the most cosmetic bounce pad in the game, though, which does absolutely nothing. I gotta say, Sonder's having a pretty strong map so far on the Ash. I know he's known as the Basher in OTP, but he's really putting up numbers on the Ash. That's pretty awkward, though. Alba going down here and touch started means that Big Man Ting might be dropping the spaghetti a little bit.
Alright, Squares on the point. Bob in the fray here from Sonder to try and be annoying. Squares not quite able to stay alive. There's a wall out. Can there be a touch? There will be another touch. Katina very close to the Terra Surge, but unfortunately the Blizzard is going to deny anything else there. It's just going to be these desperation touches here from Salty Phoenix, and they're all so unhealthy, especially D-Tank getting cut off by that ice wall, and Big Man Ting take sub-level.
Yeah, it takes them a hot second to get warmed up, but once they're on that Orisa composition, then there's no real competition. Salty Phoenix gets smacked down. Big Man Ting absolutely cooking. On to the next point here, going to be Labs if memory serves. And I wouldn't expect too many changes. The sightlines aren't really there to make anything different. Again, it's these kind of longer sightlines where the Orisa is going to find some more success. The main difference we've been seeing in these comps is going to be between Boosh and Squares. This May versus the Tracer. I gotta say, the 1v1 for the Tracer isn't so bad, but May just provides so much team value. The walls you're hitting, the blizzards you're finding. And considering we haven't seen a pulse pick so far, we might need to see a little bit more out of Squares. Back on the Tracer again, given another chance to find some redemption.
All right, here we go. Laboratories here for the second sub-map. D-Tank on the Cassidy now, trying to find something with that revolver. Katina Kart walking it down, pushed back, immediately answers with a spear of their own. Heck, now running it down as D-Tank fadeaway shots into Alba, able to take down that Juno, and the rest of Soul Team Phoenix come out swinging early for the second sub-map in a row.
Yeah, but last time they weren't able to get it consecutive. This time, they've got a second chance to make things right. 62% of the way to a rally could be very useful, especially if this next fight ends up going close. That could be online pretty quick. Like, remember, D-Tank is a bit more effective on these shorter sight lanes than Sonder. That is what Soul Team Phoenix are looking to force.
Big Man Ting. You know, neither of these teams really have much in the way of ultimates. They're not very, very close to him. Now the Hyper Ring in to try and force the issue. Soul Team Phoenix answers with one of their own as Saunders just decapitates D-Tank. Forces out the recall there from the squares. Now we see Bumper Cart Orissa's in the main fight area as Katina Cart is so low. And unfortunately, Frog and Khan just do not have the healing output to keep that Orissa up.
And they're going to get taken down now. Khan going to survive by the looks of things. The only person to escape the wrath of Big Man Ting. Oh, good lord. Squares flirts with death. Sonder looking to deal it out. But ults online for pretty much everybody here. Remember, main difference going to be the ults of Big Man Ting are just stronger than the Deadeye and the Pulse of Soul Team Phoenix.
Squares needs to find something with this Pulse Bomb on the flank, looking for it, just waiting, trying to find a moment, but gets spotted out by a Brig on the flank. The Blizzard gonna come in from Boosh, gonna try and find Frog out on the far side. The Blizzard not gonna mean much of anything, but this wall could be. Pulse Bomb out there stuck onto Gahek, who has a Terra Surge, but Katina Cart's Terra Surge going to be the one that finds the pick. They're gonna commit the Orbital Ray. Frog does go down, but is that going to be enough? Rally invested from Anthemoides, and they're gonna be able to turn it.
Oh, that is a ridiculous choice there from Alba. Absolutely ripping that Orbital Ray, and I don't think anyone really expected it, because it was, what, down Gahek, most definitely. Possibly down a DPS as well, but they're able to just continue fragging. That's the power of this support ult, this Orbital Ray in particular. Speaking of it, though, Frog now has his own, now going to be totally unmirrored. How can Big Man Ting try and cancel it out?
Alright, 70% mark here for Big Man Ting. Only ultimate in their hands is Gahek's Terra Surge. What will they use it for? We will see now. The Orbital Ray in from Frog this time. There's just going to be a hard disengage. Do not want to let that ultimate get value. You can retake the fight when that goes away, but they're able to get rid of Saunders, so Big Man Ting are just going to try to back off and stay alive here.
Yeah, they will be able to back up by the looks of things. Terra Surge is going to buy them space. What a gank onto D-Tank.
D-Tank just absolutely eats a spear there from Gahek. Bumper Cars one more time, trying to keep Gahek off of this fight. Boosh with this Blizzard not looking for it just yet. Know that they've got this fight all but won. It's just a confirmation here. Can they get rid of this? Yeah, Katina Cart, maybe a little bit of an overcommit.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I don't think they were really expecting Gahek to pop that Terra Surge there. I don't think anyone was, but now Big Man Ting, last fight territory. They got support and Blizzard. This is best case scenario for them. Soul Team Phoenix going to have to scramble.
Alright. There's gonna be a touch in from Square. No, there won't! Sonder just continues to dominate the lobby and denies everything from them. Wow!
That was a bit crazy. That was a little bit crazy. Lovely shots coming through from the hit scanner. Big Man Ting. I mean, what else can you call that but a Big Man Ting as he just rips the head off the Tracer. And now up 1-0. They are absolutely loving life right now. Not a bad idea to get your Tracer to touch at all, but it does suck when he's just getting domed time after time. Square's head, just a magnet for projectiles all throughout that point.
Yeah, that was... I mean, you talked about him, a Bastion player, right? You don't think of Bastion players as having this super high, skill ceiling, right? Sonder don't care. Sonder is just absolutely ripping heads off right now, and it is absolutely beautiful to see. The rest of Big Man Ting, though, you can't credit them either, right? I mean, Boosh has some of the best walls I've seen in recent memory, just slicing up the territory. Nothing that Soul Team Phoenix can do. I mean, Alba and Anthemoides basically single-handedly flipped that fight that they should have lost with that Orbital Ray and Rally. that was ridiculous. And Gahek is just commanding so much presence. They cannot kill this Orisa when it matters.
Yeah, seems like it. I just think with Orisa v Orisa matchups, there's so little ability to actually kill an Orisa unless you troll your gold and then get speared. You know, the ability just to turn on a damage nullifying ability at any given moment makes you just such a non-target. Especially when you're playing this Tracer, right? Then you don't have a wall, you can't isolate the background, you can't force them into a fight. So unless you're finding, you know, pulse picks, you know, backline distractions, something like that, we are just seeing less value from squares, unfortunately, than Boosh, who has walls to fall back on, who has these huge blizzards to win out fights. You know, I don't want to say it so far, but, you know, I've been paying a little bit of attention, and I don't think Squares has actually found a pulse bomb kill so far. Really not what you want to see, considering how much of Tracer's value is in that ability, especially in this composition where Briggs should be dying to that ultimate, you know, 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I think the only one that I've seen actually even stick was the one on the Gahek, where they did follow up and kill Gahek after that, you know, explosion damage. But yeah, I mean, I agree. So, you know, the Tracer, you know, not really showing its value, at least in that composition. Now, moving forward into map number 2, I think the pace of play changes a little bit. We've got Paraiso coming up for map number 2, and, you know, I still think that the poke can hold some merit, especially on defense. But when it comes to the attack, I do think that this is where Katina Kart can finally go that Winston and run a dive with Soul Team Phoenix and, you know, finally try and force that Tracer to have some value.
I agree with you there. I think it's much harder to play these kind of brawl fundamentals on a map like Paraiso. There's so many high grounds that you need to control so many different angles that if you try playing something a bit more deathbally, like what we've been seeing so far, you're going to really struggle. We're going to have to wait and see if there's any strange adaptations here from either of these two teams, but as you mentioned, dive probably going to be the main choice you go towards here. Maybe you can go for some sort of like diva poke with like Ilari Bap through the second phase, but you don't really have as many options here as you do on a lot of other points, and, you know, as well, it's a hit scan focused map type. Hybrid's always been a hit scan focused map type. You know, maybe Kings isn't as heady for it, but if Sonder continues delivering performances like this, then I think what Big Man Ting play is almost secondary to whether he can just continue to frag.
Yeah, I fully agree. Sonder is just absolutely ripping heads, taking names, and frankly, if you are running a dive, Sonder is a person that you have to look at. But it seems like there are some issues on the side of the lobby. So, okay. So there's a fire alarm going off for one of our players here in this lobby. So I think that justifies as an emergency. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, hopefully somebody will have a bucket of water, I guess. But stick around. We'll be back for map number 2 eventually.
Never in my life did I imagine it be peace. Never in my life did I imagine it be peace. Never in my life did I imagine it be peace. Never in my life did I imagine it be peace. Never in my life did I imagine it be peace.
Memories. Memories. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
Feel my heart, it's beat tight. All my body's breathing, it's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beat tight. All my body's breathing, it's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. Let's free fall. Let's free Feel my heart, it's beat tight. All my body's breathing, it's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beat tight. All my body's breathing, it's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. 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 I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We finally, somebody found a bucket of water, I guess, put out the fire in Saunders' place, and they are back. So here very, very soon, we're gonna head into Paraiso.
Yeah, sorry, there was a fire in Alba's apartment, which they had to get turned off. I don't know exactly what happened. Either way, Alba sent us this photo of them outside on the grass during the fire alarm. So there's some evidence about exactly what we were doing for the past 15 minutes or so. I think everything should be back. Alba is back at their PC, so we should be ready to get into Paraiso in just a second. All 10 players should be in the lobby. There's still no response, by the way, from the hitscan player of Soul Team Phoenix, so still D-Tank going to be on Cassidy for the immediate future. Paraiso, the next map. To circle back around to what we were saying before, not as brawly as some of the previous maps, so maybe a little bit more chance for Soul Team Phoenix to play something more mobile, find some success there. But it's also a hit scan centric map, and Sander has just been lobby admin so far.
All right. Yep. Could not agree more. Sander playing very, very well, as are the entirety of Big Man Ting. Now, unfortunately, they did have to deal with that player leaving. And, I know from personal experience when I play and there's a fire alarm, I always come back, a little bit off my game. So hopefully for Alba's sake, that is not the case. But Gahek gonna come out on the Diva with Alba and Anthemoides on the Brig Ana, which, is pretty traditional for a dive comp. And the only really non-traditional thing I see on either of these teams is Saunders on Torbjorn.
Why is my goat on Torbjorn? Why is my Icelandic player on Torbjorn? What's he cooking? Okay, let's be realistic here. What's Torb good at? Torb's actually sleeper kind of strong right now. Your turret is lovely for an extra angle. Squares is going to be absolutely ruined by that, especially if it's well placed. And as well, if you try and monkey jump on top of a Torb, especially with overload plus a shotgun, you're going to find your HP pretty quickly diminishing. So it seems like a strong anti-dive composition from Big Man Ting. They're not going in themselves, they're just waiting and responding to whatever Soul Team Phoenix wants to do.
The dive gonna come through from Cantina Cart. Gonna immediately drop back down. Don't want to fight a Diva 1v1. That usually doesn't go well for the Winston. But now the counter dive in. A nice little dino right there. But Cantina Cart. Just everybody got a piece of that Winston.
Except for Sander apparently. Boosh though already up to plenty of ult charge. And the Moides, though, absolutely the furthest away. 50%, now 60 of a nano inside a minute. This is going to be insane tempo. One Soul Team Phoenix might not even be ready for.
All right. Anti going to go out on to Katina Cart. Squares in the backline.
Oh, what a clear.
But Boosh just throwing that Tracer right back into that health pack. Now, Soul Team Phoenix. This is a 4v5 right now. Katina is antied again. And somehow manages to live.
Just getting absolutely blended right now. Our Soul Team Phoenix, as they try and walk, finally got some space. We'll see if they find any success with it.
The nano boost there on it to Gahek, who has eviscerated one, now two, now three for Gahek.
Diva's so busted right now. Even without the speed ring turning her into a cruise missile. Gek is more than capable of finding the 4-piece off the back of a nano. A great nade as well from Anthemoides to stop the push from Katina Cart. There's purple to instantly. They have to back up, and Gehek's just there. The fusion cannon. All of Soul Team Phoenix back to spawn. Half the time bank now eclipsed. Half of it left to go, and Nano Boost online for Khan now.
Knows this Tracer somewhere because Squares is always trying something slick, now the nice little dynamite there is, Jesus Christ, they're just gone so fast. They're dead so fast.
Nano target for you, let's be entirely honest. Squares is on the Echo. I see the vision, but into Anna, Ash, Diva, it's not really what you love to see. They've got the Bob, they've got the Primal, they've got the Rally. But I guess the fight plan here is something like Bob onto Cart to force them back, and then use your other... Another backline nade!
Yeah, both supports anti there, but the...
Good
God!
Sander
showing up in the kill feed for the first time this half, pulls out the hammer. Gonna look for it. Boosh. Yeah.
This is the dismantling so far. Big Man Ting off the back of the fire alarm seems to be playing better. I can only really say. Gehek goes for a Hail Mary bomb and gets nothing, shockingly.
Nano
Boost. They're trolling for content, man. They are actually just trolling. They've only got a multi-core now. Surely this is the window. Still the bomb for D-Tank. But I gotta say, Big Man Ting just seems so comfortable right now.
Good heal from Gahek, backing down, getting the healing from their supports. Bob going to enter the fray, immediately put to bed. A little bit of damage there from the Molten Core. But Bob, finally does get scrapped there. Gahek pushed down to the low ground, onto the point, eats up all of those sticky nades from Squares. I mean, Gehex Mech, unfortunately, Squares is not low enough for you to focusing beam there. Gonna use the dupe onto the Torbjorn of all people. Boosh comes back on the Widowmaker of all people. Gonna have the off angle here. Gonna find a shot. Not quite gonna find the shot on the Khan. A lot of damage on the D-Tank. Squares throws out the Molten Core. A nice little nade there to keep both the D.Va and the Brig in this fight. One tick goes the way of Soul Team Phoenix. Katina has a self-destruct should they need it.
Definitely for the Nano.
Yeah, the Nano gonna come through. Eventually, both sides have a Nano.
Wait,
Sleep-
oh
my god, what a sleep from Anthemitis!
Oh, they don't touch as well. Only the 2 kills come through. They probably would have been a fight win for Big Man Ting anyway, but Soul Team Phoenix. Oh, that's really rough. The self-destruct. I don't even know. Listen, when all's said and done, 50% on the dot of the cart has been unlocked, and no more. That's going to be the stopping point here for Big Man Ting. Only have to unlock half of the objective to go up 2-0 in this series, and continuing a speed run here. Considering I think Sonder has places to be in 7 minutes, they would really like to get this one pretty quick. And, you know, with Clash coming up next, the speedrun can mayhap continue. So we'll have to wait and see if Soul Team Phoenix can find the foothold to go 1-1 here. So far, I have to say, I'm not feeling super hopeful. They are kind of getting cooked, but back on this Ram composition, it's pretty playable on the defense, actually. So there's a chance for them to find a little bit more, especially with Squares now off the Tracer onto that May.
I mean, Big Man Ting, they're just confident, right? I mean, they don't think that anything is a hindrance to them. You see Khan, big old kitty. That guy doesn't deserve that, or doesn't. He deserves to be here, but he shouldn't be on the battlefield. I'll say it. Get that cat safe.
For real. Monkey dive now. Sonder's still on Torbjorn. He got places to be. Looking for a Widow pick, but after that, it should just be pretty standard staging, especially if Antonides hits a nade. No nade, but that's wall and slow out already.
Yep. Heck, forcing out the abilities there. Not really anybody to comfortably dive with them. So we'll see how this is going to work out. Off angle here for Boosh, finds a couple of shots, a little bit of damage, but Katina card just explodes. I mean, it's like they're on a timer on this map. They're just like, boom, and there's Sandra's hammer kill. That's the map, almost certainly.
Exactly, yeah, and that just a speed run. No other way about it. The point's going to be unlocked in 46 seconds from spawn doors to unlock to the round ending. I don't really know what I can say about that. I can't lie, I'm a bit lost for words here, and that does not happen often.
I mean, it just feels like Big Man Ting. I mean, they've got the roster that they want in the game, right? And I don't want to put all of this on, you know, that specifically. It could be a contributing factor. Soul Team Phoenix, not really with the starting lineup that they would have liked to come out with, but there's just more to it right now. Big Man Ting is just absolutely running it down, and Soul Team Phoenix cannot stop it. Nothing that they're doing is providing any value to their ability to hold on to these points. Right now, sometimes all you can say, Big Man Ting is the better team.
Looks like it. Throne of Anubis going to be coming up next. No break in between map 2 and 3 after we've just had that extended one. Both teams look to be ready, so we should be going into the action relatively quickly. And I have to say, I might have to bust out the Clash timer again. Current CGL record, 2 minutes and 9 seconds. We probably don't eclipse that. That was about as fast as you can go. But if we do, I want to be there at measuring it. I do think this is the better of the two Clash maps so far. You know, I am an avowed Clash hater, as I'm sure we've heard before. But, you know, if you want to play Clash, this is probably where I would end up doing. High grounds feel a bit more accessible, feels a bit less like a linear map. You have, it feels like, some options here.
All right, we'll see what the idea is for these teams. Katina Card and Soul Team Phoenix looking like they want to reprise their roles that we saw on map number 1, with the obvious exception being Squares hovering that Venture. Probably not going to end up playing a Venture now that I think about it. But Big Man Ting, they've got a very, very fast, very, very aggressive composition here with the Junker Queen, the Juno, and the Ana. We'll see.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's going to be just a late second swap to the Brigitte. They want that survivability, the ability to hard pocket Boosh, and I very much respect it. Squares versus Boosh is going to be interesting, actually. The Venture is pretty good at marking the Tracer, but it's going to really struggle to actually secure that kill.
Alright, here we go. Point C. The beginning is, I mean, Gahek just explodes, doing the same thing Katina Kart did last map, as Soul Team Phoenix just walk in and walk through Big Man Ting.
Yeah, exactly. That was lightning fast there. The idea to try and play the Queen, it's just not as strong a pick as maybe the Orisa, so Gahek's going to be mirroring it out about now when the map may well begin in earnest. Great work from Squares, though, just early focus fire, eliminating Gahek there.
Pushed back for a moment there by Gahek with that spear. Fighting from the high ground right now is Soul Team Phoenix, putting a lot of damage down. Katina Kart drops to face down Gahek properly here. I mean, D-Tank you see under a lot of pressure, a little dynamite up there to put something on to Frog, but the damage has been done. The Tracer in the backline, Boosh, good for one, helps to take out a second, and Gahek rips through this team, and Big Man Ting looks to even it up here on point B.
Yeah, it seems like the Orisa is just a secret source here, one that Soul Team Phoenix still doesn't have the answer for. The Queen, I think, was just a little bit too far out of left field for them, but that's going to be tied now here on Throne of Anubis, and Big Man Ting can continue now. Squares getting reset that late is going to hurt, because that means that, you know, it's going to be a defensive fight for Big Man Ting on this objective here.
Alright, Gahek meeting Katina Kart here on the point. Gahek already basically even with Katina Kart in ultimate charge, which is ridiculous, but Boosh now with that was disgusting. Pulse bomb out, con it down. The orbital ray came in here from Frog, but it's just not going to be enough.
No, I very much expect this to end here. I mean, once you kill 2 off the Tracer, then I mean, Frog attempts to duplicate the Alba play from map 1 oh so long ago with the orbital ray to clutch out the fight, but it just doesn't work the same way. Now Big Man Ting have basically all of their important ults, the Bob and the support ults. Frog can't mirror out the orbital ray. This looks like the beginning of a snowball to me here.
Boosh already having used that recall, doesn't want to get too aggressive, finds the Venture on the off angle. Squares being a little bit loud, gets caught out again, pushed away. Now the engagement in from Boosh onto the backline of Soul Team Phoenix, uses the recall to properly get out. There is a Bob in hand of Sonder here. Squares pushed away. I don't imagine Bob. I mean, a big dynamite there as Katina Kart is able to actually put the blender onto Boosh. Tectonic shock in here from Square. Rally in as well. Try to keep this fight going for Anthmoides, but just getting run down time after time here. It will be a fight win for Soul Team Phoenix, but it looks like they're in the spawn of Big Man Ting.
They're back so far. They'll be able to get the cap, though, in the end. And again, another attempt to clutch out the fight with support ults goes awry. Maybe there's just something in the air here on Throne of Anubis, but we'll be going back to point C for the 3rd time now, as we just seem to be seesawing back and forth here. In terms of the ults, I guess, yeah, advantage for Big Man Ting. They still got DPS ults, Gahek's getting closer and closer to another Terra Surge. But D-Tank now on the Ashe means that there are now no differences realistically between these comps.
You look up there at Squares' health pool, able to somehow survive. Can Katina Kart be so lucky? Gets the healing from Frog, gets away from the Tracer who is harassing them back there. Now, Big Man Ting have the early positioning. They're going to get the first little bit of progress. Hyper Ring in from Alba. I mean, Boosh. Just absolutely lobbing these pulse bombs out. I mean, electric on the Tracer right now.
Absolutely dismantling them, yeah. And most of these fights, Big Man Ting are winning. It's because Boosh has been able to access the backline and just absolutely demolish them. Great fight here from Big Man Ting. We're going to have dueling orbital rays up next. But still, that bomb's been held by Sonder for a hot second now. One is surely looking to use.
Oh, good shots from Sonder. Bush, Squares, and D-Tank both back. Still has Bob in, but Anthemoides gets caught out. Dig comes through from Squares to escape D-Tank, or rather Sonder, as, I mean, Bush is just absolutely ripping and tearing.
How's he gonna done that?
I have no clue, and I mean, just sandwiched between a Tracer and a Bob is not a great place to be as Big Man Ting look to cap out this point.
Ooh. Nice dodge on the whip shot here. The point continues to get forced. They're clutching this fight out of Big Man Ting. Entirely backlineless, Sonder and Bush have put together a small miracle. And while I think Soul Team Phoenix might have a recontest, I don't think it's a good one at all. Alba's got the orbital ray now to rebuff it. And they can't even touch. How have they done that?
I mean, Sonder, you know, has places to be. Wants to get out of here as fast as possible. Now into this final point. Hyper Ring used by Alba to get aggressive. Gonna use the orbital ray is a frog. Alba has one of their own. Can they get out of this? Katina Cart decides to turn 2 into a pace on the pavement there as Soul Team Phoenix look to grab their tick.
Thing is, though, only one more point needed from Big Man Ting, and considering how, you know, Soul Team Phoenix spent relatively liberally to win out that previous, I mean, now Big Man Ting have got 4 check marks to win 1 fight. This is still very, very comfortable for them, and though it hasn't been a steamroll like I predicted, it's still been one-way traffic in the favor of Big Man Ting, looking to close things out pretty quick because these ops are struggling.
Alright, now 4-3 here. Nice little dynamite there out from D-Tank, who has a Bob here, ready for Big Man Ting to come into this fight. Boosh being run down by the Venture. Not a great 1v1 fight, if I do say so. Now the orbital ray in from Alba. Alba just explodes though. Bob enters the fray here from the side of D-Tank. Terra Surge gonna put some damage into Bob, but Bob from this high ground positioning will, you know, give him a good view of the point. And somehow, some way, Square able to put Gahek down, and it looks like this is going to 4-4.
Yeah, you're going to be going all the way to 1 point on C here as Soul Team Phoenix managed to clutch out that fight with a huge pick onto Alba, maybe still spooked from that fire alarm. Is a touch. They want to try and clutch this out with the rally.
Rally and Bob here. Khan goes down. So, I mean, Big Man Ting have an opportunity here. Trades abound. But with Bob being there, even with Anthemoides going down, there's 5 players left for Big Man Ting. And that could do it. Rally from Khan?
No, it's too far. It's too far. Especially if Gahek goes forward to market. I just don't think they have a touch.
Yeah, Khan waves goodbye to Big Man Ting as the final score here for Throne of Anubis will be 5-3, and Big Man Ting clean up with a 3-0 after some miracle fights. I mean, both on Throne of Anubis and not Eco Point Antarctica. It's Antarctic Peninsula. I mean, they just had some crazy, crazy fights for that. Frankly, they shouldn't have won. I'll say it.
No, never. I guess there's just no... There's no such thing as a disadvantaged fight if you're Big Man Ting, apparently. Because they just show up and absolutely fry them. There's no 2 ways about it. That was actually a little bit insane. And yes, Sonder's insta-gone. He's got places to be. That was a little bit mad.
Yeah. I mean, Bush and Sonder, those 2 were absolutely ridiculous. I mean, on all 3 maps, but particularly there, they only won as dominantly as they did off of the effort of Sonder and Bush. Map number 1, I mean, all 3 maps, very, very strong in the way of Big Man Ting. It was a very, you know, close finish at the end of Throne of Anubis, but with the confidence and strength of Big Man Ting's play, there was really never a doubt in their minds, at least.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. I mean, especially when we were watching them parry Uso right in there playing Torbjorn, they're just like throwing ults away for no reason. They seem so comfortable there. I mean, apparently they're both 1 and 2 teams, but there seems to be a canyon in between them so far. Of course, still time in the season. as previously mentioned, not before the mid-season tournament, but before the end for Salty Phoenix to clean up their acts a little bit, try and get in what scrims they can, improve as individuals. And for Big Man Ting,
hopefully.
I think it might just be a polish thing for them.
Yeah, hopefully they can get their proper starting lineup in when they want to win these big games, right? But yeah, Big Man Ting moves to 2-2. We are going to cut it to a short break here. And when we come back, we'll have Boosh from Big Man Ting for an interview. So stick around for that. That should be an interesting one. All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got Boosh of Big Man Ting here for an interview. Boosh, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, as usual. Feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great performance from y'all. Unfortunately, it's not enough to get y'all into that mid-season tournament. But, what was y'all's idea coming into this game knowing that y'all probably weren't going to make the mid-season tournament?
Well, we just have to do our best, That's all we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Look into the future. We have to look at the future, plan for the future. As long as we make the playoffs, we're fine.
I think for me, what I want to ask you first is, obviously you guys are relatively dominant throughout that series. Firstly, was there any effect on your guys' mental when Alba had the fire alarm go off?
Well, created a bit of a funny vibe in the voice chat, where we weren't sure if he was gonna come back or not.
Yeah.
Obviously he was fine, but it's a fire alarm. You never know what happens. But it was fine.
Was that the funny energy that caused you guys to go Torbjorn on Paraíso? Was that a strat?
No, he just had like a I don't know. He had a moment. He was like, guys, I have a strategy. We go Torb. It's gonna work. Trust me. So we were like, okay, let's do it.
It worked out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. For my second question, then, my second proper question. Obviously, you just had an absolute lights out performance on Throne of Anubis on a personal level. Your team, though, was struggling a little bit. So what made it kind of look so easy for you? And maybe what was going on in the team to make it go 5-4 in the end?
I don't know. You know, I've played against these guys. I used to be console myself. I went by the name Leo. And so I do know these guys a bit. I guess I know how they play or something. Maybe I'm just... I know how all console players play. So... it works out fine for me. I'm used to playing against aim assist.
I see.
And then I kind of want to talk about, because y'all had a couple of miracle fights, I want to call them. I want to know the idea behind these fights, right? There was a fight on the first map of Antarctic Peninsula where y'all were down 2 people to start off the fight. Y'all, was there like a proper idea of, hey, we're gonna turn this fight no matter what with these support ultimates, and kind of the same thing with you and Sonder on map number 3, like we're gonna turn this fight no matter what. Like, is that something that y'all are thinking about?
Well, I remember the first one you're on about, and I guess they killed 2. I remember I killed the Juno. So the game was just, I mean, the fight was just winnable because we had Rally and the Ray as well. And May's kind of a tank either way, so we didn't need a tank to win that fight.
All right, well,
there wasn't really any plan. It was just in the moment thing, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. All right, Boosh. Well, thank you for coming to talk to us. Congrats on the win and best of luck throughout the rest of the season. But Spec, we're at the end of our rope here. Series comes to an end 3-0. I mean, a very, very strong performance from Big Man Ting.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can really describe it as, right? There was some sauce all over the floor. I think we got the impression they weren't taking it all that seriously, and though we couldn't, prod Boosh to say get too much trash talk out. I think it's pretty clear from the Torb and the a lot of the plays that it was just an absolute walk in the park for them. And as we mentioned, they're both 1 and 2 teams heading into this, but I think this just shows how much strength of schedule can affect you as well, because it's clear that at least when these 2 teams clashed, it was pretty one-sided.
Yeah. So Big Man Ting 3-0 over Soul Team Phoenix, but that is not it for the CGL action here today. Tonight on the NA side, we've got Space Train Express versus the Emerald Eagles. Should be a good one there, and I believe our NA Diamond tier, if I'm not mistaken. So check out the stream notifications on Discord, stream notifications on Twitch. Should be a lot of fun, and then we've got a bunch more Overwatch throughout the rest of this week. So, Spec, unless you have anything else to say?
No, nothing from me, man.
All right, cool. That will do it for us here on the EU side tonight. Once again, check us out on the NA side tonight. Thank you all for watching, and we will see y'all in the next one.